Hello traders, and welcome to the StockGoodies Chart School. One of the primary goals of StockGoodies is trader education, and this series of lessons will teach you the basics of technical analysis of stock charts and all of the technical indicators you can add to them. Successful traders use every tool available to them, and learning how to read stock charts with technical indicators is one of the best tools traders can use because they work. I started trading the stock market about 20 years ago, and the first few years I only concentrated on doing fundamental analysis, trying to find the best blue chip stocks that paid a decent dividend, because I had heard that, that's the way to go. Buy and hold, get your check consistently. And in those days, dividends were going up, so I thought it was a pretty good idea. I ended up buying just a few shares of the best known blue chip stocks like General Motors, GM, IBM, things like that, and a few other well-established technology companies that were doing very well on their EPSs and annual, reporting revenues going up every quarter, every year over year. It was great. So, I looked at technology and went, yeah, that's the future. I want to concentrate on that. Okay, and now this was the time period was just when the dot-com boom was beginning. So my active account had dividend checks rolling in slowly, and I was accumulating some extra cash I intended to reinvest. So I did not have an online trading account at the time, so I would have to call my broker to place a trade, which I never did. I was buy and hold, never sold. You don't take a loss until it's sold, kind of guy. And in those days, a broker would actually take the time to answer a question like, hey, bud, is this a good stock to buy, sell, hold, and why? And he would actually give you an answer. And he would also point you to new websites that were popping up all over, teaching you how to do better fundamental analysis. And that means digging into the company itself, looking at quarterly and annual reports for earnings per share growth quarter over quarter, year over year, and everything else, all the news, all their recent developments. You got to keep up with all of that. Okay, so I was getting pretty good at that. I knew what a stock chart looked like, but I really didn't pay much attention to them at the time because it didn't apply to what I was doing. And then the dot-com boom happened, and charts were taken off like rockets, and it was easy to see that good money could be made a lot faster than by holding dividend-paying stocks ever could. And at the same time, online message boards were really starting to happen because of the dot-com boom, and chatter was about technology and charts and, read this news, read this filing kind of a thing, and charts were becoming very popular. And I began to follow one trader that would show a very successful trader that would show, and he proved it with screenshots of his buy and sells on, the broker house he was with. So you could tell it was real. And he would post these charts with circles and arrows and a paragraph on it with lines all over it. And, and it really was very clear. He showed exactly what I bought here, I sold here, this is why I bought, this is why I sold, this is what happened in between that scared me, but I stayed. And, you could tell he was successful, and he attributed it to knowing how to read charts with technical indicators on. Okay, so he got me hooked. I go, I want to know more, man. Where do I get this kind of information? And he sent me to stockcharts.com, investopedia.com, 2 or 3 other of the top information sites at the time. And I started loading a chart, just like I'm about to show you how to do, and learning one indicator at a time and learning it well. To keep things simple, all of the charts and all of the information shown in these lessons will come from the stockcharts.com website, whose motto is simply the web's best financial charts. And I agree. During my many years of studying technical analysis, I have visited many other websites that offer decent charts and similar and good information, but In my opinion, this site does it best. And one of the reasons is it's 100% free. Everything I'm going to show you in these lessons, you will not need to register or even log in. You will click on a stock chart and it will look very similar to the ones I will be showing you. Now this is the default chart that will show when you click on any of the chart links above, like I just did for the NASDAQ Composite Index. First of all, I like the fact that on their default charts they show candlestick charts, which are the best of the 5 or 6 other forms of plotting price action, and I will go into more detail about why candlestick charts are by far superior to any other price action plotting. You will also see 2 moving averages that they feel are very important on a daily chart. The blue line here is the 50-day moving average, and the red line below it is the 200-day moving average. I'll get into things like silver and golden crosses. Like this one here. This is a golden cross on the NASDAQ Composite where the blue 50-day moving average crosses up through the red 200-day moving average, and that is a very bullish signal. And as you can see from the price action, it did go up after the golden cross occurred. A silver cross is when you plot the 15-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, and the same crossover happens, which is also a bullish signal. It just happens a little bit quicker. Okay, so they also think the RSI is important because quite a few of the other overlays and indicators are based on the RSI Relative Strength Index. They also think that the MACD, or Moving Average Convergence Divergence, is important. And again, a number of other overlays or indicators are based on the MACD. So we'll be covering them at the beginning of the lessons and then show which other ones are tied to it. Now, as far as what we'll be covering in their chart school, will be on this page here, which is overlays and indicators. Overlays are things like Bollinger Bands, moving averages, parabolic SAR, the zigzag indicator, which used to be, when I first began, one of my favorites. That's how I got the name the Zigzag Man, because I fell in love with the way charts would zigzag, and I wanted to learn more about the hows and whys of they did that. Okay, so basically most of this series of lessons will be based on things found on this page, but we will also go to the chart analysis page and talk about things like support and resistance, trend lines, chart patterns, which are very useful. We'll also get into candlestick charts and explain why they are by far superior to any other method of plotting price action. We'll get into how each candlestick forms a day if you're on a daily chart, and how 3 or 4 of them combined will give bullish or bearish signals. Okay. We'll also talk about other types of charts and other charting tools, such as Fibonacci's, which are one of the best tools I know of. Okay. So basically, we will be discussing the basics. This series of lessons is designed for novice traders who are just beginning their study of technical analysis. Technical analysis works, and it will help you to become a more successful trader. And that's what our goal here is to help you learn how to use technical analysis to become a more successful trader.